Hi. Welcome to channel Educate Yourself. Today episode talking about top 10 amazing facts about Adolf Hitler. Number 10. His first love was a Jewish girl. When he was 16 and attended school in Linz, he met a girl named Stephanie Rabach. He fell deeply in love with her, a teenager's first love in spring 1905. His childhood friend, August Kubizek, wrote in his book Adolf Hitler, Mein Jugendfreund that Stephanie had no idea how deeply Adolf was in love with her. He never managed to her, always saying that he would do so tomorrow. When his mother's funeral procession passed Stephanie's house, he stated that he had seen her behind the window and had found consolation in that. In his best friend's words, when she responded with a smile to his inquiring glance, he was happy and his mood became unlike anything I had ever observed in him. But when Stephanie, as happened just as often, coldly ignored his gaze, he was crushed and ready to destroy himself and the whole world. In her later days, Stephanie stated that she was unaware of his feelings. Number 9. His family doctor was a Jew. Edward Bloch was a Jewish doctor who was held in high regard, particularly among the lower social classes in the native of Linz, Austria, around 1903. He was ready to help his patients at any time, even during night. The first patient of the Führer's family he had to see was Führer himself when he became seriously ill and bedridden because of the severe lung ailment, and until 1907, he remained as a physician of that family. When Führer's mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, Bloch treated her till she died without taking money from them. The then 18-year-old Führer honored him with his everlasting gratitude for that. Later in his interview, Bloch said that Führer was the saddest man I had ever seen, when he was informed of the death of his mother. Bloch was also awarded special protection after the Nazi union between Austria and Germany. Number 8. He always carried his mother's portrait. After Führer's father Alois Hitler's first marriage to Anna Glasl-Horer, his mother Clara Polzel was hired as a household servant at the age of 16. And after the death of Alois's second wife Franziska Matzelsberger, Alois and Clara were married on the 7th of January 1885. Their first son, Gustav, was born on the 15th of May 1885, followed by Führer on the 20th of April 1889. His mother was very devoted to her children and regularly attended church with them. He had a very close relationship with his mother and was devastated by her death. He carried the pain for that loss for the rest of his life, and later said, "That was a dreadful blow." In his book, Mein Kampf, he stated that he honored my father, but loved my mother. In the book Adolf Hitler, Mein Jugendfreund, August Kubizek stated, "When we lived together in Vienna he always carried his mother's portrait with him." Number 7. He was a strict vegetarian. He followed a strict vegetarian diet since his early days, and in 1941, he self-identified as an orthodox vegetarian. Ignatius Feyerabend later described him as a lifelong vegetarian at table. He hated meat as he was strictly against any kind of animal slaughtering. German magazine Die Weisfondorung once published in Führer's ruling days, "Do you know that your Führer is a vegetarian, and that he does not eat meat because of his general attitude toward life and his love for the world of animals? Do you know that your Führer is an exemplary friend of animals, and even as a chancellor, he is not separated from the animals he has kept for years?" He himself also said, as recorded in the Hitler's Table Talk, that one may regret living at a period when it's impossible to form an idea of the shape the world of the future will assume. But there's one thing I can predict to eaters of meat: the world of the future will be vegetarian. Number 6. He was a great artist. Painting was a major interest throughout his lifetime. He created hundreds of amazing paintings and postcards and sold those to earn a living during his Vienna years around 1908. Many of his paintings were recovered after World War II and auctioned at huge prices. In his autobiography Mein Kampf, he stated that he always wanted to be a famous artist, but was demoralized a little when he failed the entrance exam of the Academy of Fine Arts Vienna twice in 1907 and 08 as a painter, whereas the institution stated he was a talented architect rather than a painter. Knowing his talent, the Academy suggested that he should apply to Academy's School of Architecture. Frederick Spotts in his book Hitler and the Power of Aesthetics stated that he had a modicum of talent at least in sketching buildings, but what technique he learned he picked up on his own. Some of his best paintings are House with a White Fence, Ruins of a Cloister in Messens, and the Courtyard of the Old Residency in Munich. Number 5. He was a big-time Disney fan. His dearest friend Ernst Hanfstaengl, who he called Putsy, revealed, while remembering Führer, that he was a frequent whistler. He would regularly whistle Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf? A song from the Disney movie, The Big Bad Wolf. As an interesting fact, his name itself was derived from Old German word Adolf Wolf, which also stand for noble wolf. Later in 2008, the director of the War Museum in northern Norway, William Hatvog, discovered some fantastic cartoon drawings by him during the Second World War, and all of them were signed A. Hitler. Those paintings include Håkon Bishful from the 1937 Disney movie Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which is also one of his most favorite movies. Later Disney also showed honor to him with their movie Der Face, aka Donald Duck in Naziland, the only Donald Duck film to receive an Oscar till now. Number 4. He never visited any concentration camps. He never visited a single concentration camp, and did not speak openly or even to his closest entourage about his plans or intentions to remove the Jews from his country. He kept himself aloof from all the concentration camps and also the final gas chamber solution. Whereas his Reichsfuhrer Heinrich Himmler addressed SS leaders in 1943 about what it was like to see thousands of corpses lying side by side, describing the extermination of the Jewish people. No written order by him about the concentration camps or even the gas chamber solution has ever been found till date, whereas many historians also claimed that the orders never even existed. He even gave protection to some of his close Jewish people like Dr. Edward Bloch during the Union of Nazi. Number 3. World's first anti-smoking campaign was led by him. He initiated a strong anti-tobacco movement when German doctors became the pioneers to identify the connection between smoking and lung cancer. He hated tobacco and never touched it for a single time in his later days, whereas he led the world's first anti-smoking campaign in history, which was also the most powerful anti-smoking movement on the planet, during 1930s. That anti-smoking campaign included banning of smoking in public places and promoting health benefits without tobacco intake. He said, "He does not devour it, the cigarette, it devours him," in one of his anti-smoking ads named The Chain Smoker. From 1939 to 1945, smoking by his military personnel was also strictly restricted. He also viewed smoking as decadent and marked his feeling towards smoking by saying so many excellent men have been lost to tobacco poisoning. Number 2. He was nominated in the year 1939 for the Nobel Peace Prize by a member of the Swedish parliament named E.G. Siebrand, though that nomination was never taken seriously due to the war controversies at time and also for political dilemma of World War II. A number of Swedish parliamentarians had nominated the then British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain at the time for the Nobel Peace Prize, where Brandt viewed that the nomination with great skepticism, while nominating Führer as an opponent for the Nobel. However, that nomination was not well received by many other political leaders around the world, and the nomination was swiftly withdrawn on the 1st of February, 1939, with just a single letter from Brandt. Number 1. He loved dogs. Yes, he was a big-time canine lover, whereas he was afraid of cats like Napoleon Bonaparte or Julius Caesar. Ailurophobia, or the cat fear, was developed within him since his early days. He always maintained safe distance from cats, whereas he mostly enjoyed dogs since his childhood. His personal favorite breed was German Shepherds. Blondie, his own German Shepherd, often slept with him in his bedroom and was also with him in the bunker, where they took their own lives without surrendering to anyone by cyanide pill. Blondie also had 5 puppies with Harris, the German Shepherd of Gertie Troost. He named one of the puppies Wolf, which is derived from the meaning of his own name. Thank you for watching video. Please click subscribe for more. And follow me on Twitter and Facebook.